The Night the Sea Turned Silver, 2003, Phuket, Thailand. It began on a night so still, the ocean seemed to be holding its breath. The fishermen of Phuket pushed their long-tailed boats into the water as they had done countless evenings before, expecting darkness, quiet, and the gentle rhythm of the Andaman Sea. But just past midnight, something changed. Something impossible. One of the men lifted his lantern to check his nets and froze. Beneath him, the water wasn't dark at all. It was glowing, shimmering, stretching out like a sheet of molten silver. At first, no one spoke. Their boats rocked softly as the surface glimmered brighter, brighter still, as if moonlight were being poured directly into the sea. But the moon was hidden behind thick clouds. There was no light source. And yet the glow seemed to ripple with intention, as if something deep below were stirring awake. One fisherman dipped his oar into the water. The silver parted, swirling around the wood with a liquid shimmer that clung to it like living paint. When he lifted it again, tiny specks of light slid down the oar and dripped back into the sea. Another man swept his hand through the glow and felt nothing unusual, just cool salt water, yet trails of pale radiance followed his fingers. Word spread from boat to boat. Soon dozens of fishermen drifted silently across a sea that looked more like a sky full of stars, broken and scattered across the waves. Some described it as beautiful, others unsettling. All agreed it was unlike anything they had ever seen. But then came the moment that none of them would ever forget. As the tide shifted, the entire silver expanse began to move, slowly, deliberately, flowing in a single direction. It wasn't pushed by wind or waves. It pulled itself, as if following some invisible command. The glowing water drifted away from the shore, miles into the open sea, forming a long, sweeping arc of light that faded only when it reached the horizon. A few fishermen followed at a distance, hearts pounding. They whispered about old stories, spirits of the ocean, signs of change, omens meant only for those who lived their lives by the tide. But as quickly as it had appeared, the silver glow began to dim, first softening into a pale haze, then collapsing into faint sparks, then finally dissolving into the black of the midnight water. By dawn, the sea looked ordinary again, calm, quiet, unremarkable. Scientists later suggested bioluminescent plankton stirred by some unusual current. But the fishermen who saw it, who stood on that glowing water and followed its shifting trail into the darkness, they insist it was something more, something alive, something purposeful, something that only reveals itself once in a lifetime. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.